Look, when the world goes sideways, putting protein over a fire is not just a weekend pastime. It becomes the absolute foundation of keeping your family alive. And if you are relying on a firearm to harvest that meat or defend your property, you simply cannot afford a single mechanical failure. We are talking about needing a weapon system that laughs in the face of Mother Nature. Sure, your grandpa's old lever gun is a beautiful piece of American history, but when you need a primary tool that will run flawlessly through driving sleet, knee-deep swamp mud, and sub-zero temperatures, the roster of truly qualified hardware gets mighty thin. I have spent thousands of hours out in the elements, running drills and taking game. I know exactly what happens when grit gets packed into a cheap action. So today, we are stripping away the corporate marketing fluff. We are looking at 5 of the most brutally resilient, field-ready bolt-action weapon systems you can buy on the civilian market right now. These are your force multipliers. The guns that will cycle brass and send lead exactly where you want it, no matter how bad the environment gets. Let's dive in. Savage 110 Hunter. First up on the bench, we have got a rifle that genuinely redefines the phrase budget workhorse. I am talking about the Savage 110 Hunter. Savage took their absolute tank of an action, the legendary 110, and gave it a purpose-built overhaul for backcountry survival. If your wallet is light, but your standards for terminal ballistics are high, pay attention right here. The absolute game changer on this rig is that Hogue overmolded stock. A lot of entry-level rifles give you a hollow, slick plastic stock that feels like a cheap toy. Not this one. This Hogue stock is wrapped in a tactile, rubberized armor. When you are sitting in a tree stand and your hands are absolutely frozen stiff, or you are belly crawling through wet brush, that tacky surface locks into your shoulder and your grip. You will not lose weapon retention. On top of that, Savage coated the entire barreled action in a thick layer of tungsten Cerakote. That is a serious chemical barrier right there. It aggressively fights off rust and corrosion from humidity and rain before it can even start. Internally, you get that bulletproof Savage reliability. It features the user-adjustable AccuTrigger. I have run thousands of rounds through these, and I will still argue it is one of the cleanest, most predictable glass rod brakes on the factory market. It feeds from a rugged detachable box magazine. The muzzle comes threaded from the factory, so it is begging for a sound suppressor or a solid recoil brake. And they include a tactile 3-position tang safety. For a street price sitting right around $650, walking away with a fully weather-sealed suppressor-ready system is highway robbery. Weatherby Vanguard. Next up on the rack, we are moving to the Weatherby Vanguard. Do not let that sleek name throw you off. This absolute unit is built like a freight train. The Vanguard line has been doing the heavy lifting in the hunting community for over a decade. It often gets ignored because it lacks the flashy million-dollar ad campaigns. But those of us who spend serious time at the range know the truth. This action is fundamentally a tuned-up Howa 1500, and the Howa 1500 is virtually indestructible. I got my hands on this exact Obsidian model at a recent industry shoot, and let me tell you, it punches way above its weight class. Weatherby stands behind this system with a hard sub-MOA accuracy guarantee right out of the cardboard box. That means if you do your part with premium factory ammo, it will print a 3-shot group measuring under 1 inch at 100 yards. For a rifle with a price tag hovering around $550, that kind of mechanical precision is incredibly rare. The foundation is a rugged synthetic Monte Carlo stock. That raised comb naturally aligns your dominant eye right down the center of your optic. It houses a cold, hammer-forged barrel that is going to give you an exceptionally long service life. Every piece of external metal is locked down with a graphite black Cerakote finish, making it highly resistant to the elements. The trigger is a 2-stage match design that breaks incredibly clean, giving you ultimate confidence on those stretched-out shots. It tips the scales at 7.5 pounds. That gives you enough mass to absorb felt recoil, but it will not break your back on a 10-mile foot patrol. You can get this chambered in everything from .223 Remington for varmints all the way up to heavy-hitting cartridges like the 7mm PRC. This is a phenomenal, ruggedized option for the responsibly armed citizen. Ruger American. You all knew this one was making the list. We absolutely cannot discuss hard-use utility rifles without talking about the new king of the hill, The Ruger American. The original Ruger American practically owned the budget hunting sector for years because it just refused to quit. But Ruger actually listened to end-user feedback, and they cranked the Gen 2 up to a whole new level. They integrated some highly practical, tactical enhancements that make a massive difference when you are out in the dirt. The biggest shift is the barrel profile. They chopped it down to 20 inches on your standard short-action calibers. That transforms this rifle into an incredibly fast-handling system when you are pushing through dense brush or bailing out of a truck. That barrel is deeply spiral-fluted. This not only shaves off unnecessary weight, but dramatically increases surface area for rapid cooling during sustained fire. And yes, the whole thing is heavily Cerakoted. The total package weighs in at a highly mobile 6.2 pounds. You could carry this thing for days on an expedition without feeling fatigued. Ruger also swapped out the bolt handle for an oversized tactical knob. This makes cycling the action under stress or with heavy gloves exponentially faster. They maintained that short 70-degree bolt throw, which means your hand will never smash into the bell of your scope. The redesigned stock is significantly more rigid. It features Ruger's proprietary power bedding system, completely free-floating the barrel to ensure repeatable barrel harmonics. But my favorite upgrade has to be the new 3-position tang safety. You can physically lock the bolt shut while traversing rough terrain, ensuring a rogue branch does not pop your action open and dump your chambered round in the mud. Whether you choose classic NATO rounds or modern staples like .308 Winchester or 6.5 Creedmoor, the Gen 2 is a bona fide duty rifle right off the shelf. Browning X-Bolt, Hell's Canyon Speed. All right, let's change gears. What if your operating environment demands long-distance precision? If you are taking shots across a massive canyon or engaging targets from one ridgeline to another, you need a highly specialized instrument. That brings us to the Browning X-Bolt Hell's Canyon Speed. This is the undisputed top-tier premium mountain rifle. The X-Bolt action itself is a mechanical masterpiece. It utilizes a lightning-fast 60-degree bolt lift. This allows for incredibly rapid extraction and feeding, while giving you massive clearance for those oversized long-range optics. When your target is on the move and you need an immediate follow-up shot, this action is a lifesaver. Now, top-shelf engineering does not come cheap. You are looking at an investment of around $1,800 to $2,000. But every penny goes into raw performance. The entire weapon is draped in a custom burnt bronze Cerakote, which melts perfectly into high desert and arid landscapes. The tough composite stock is hydro-dipped in ATAX AU camouflage, breaking up your silhouette brilliantly. Even with a heavier accuracy profile barrel, the aggressive fluting keeps the overall weight down to an incredibly agile 6.5 pounds. That barrel is meticulously hand-chambered and fully free-floated from the factory. The result is nothing short of surgical precision. Couple that with Browning's proprietary feather trigger. It has absolutely zero creep and zero overtravel. It takes all the human error out of the mechanical trigger press. Listen to me carefully. If you pull the shot with this rifle, you cannot blame the hardware. Tikka T3x Lite. Wrapping up our list, we have the absolute gold standard for buttery smooth performance, the Tikka T3x Lite. This incredibly capable platform is born in Finland, and let me tell you, if there is a group of people on this earth who understand how to make a rifle run in sub-zero, miserable conditions, it is the Finns. The T3X has earned its legendary status for one primary reason. The bolt operation is flawlessly smooth. It genuinely feels like the bolt body is gliding on lubricated ball bearings. When your adrenaline is spiking and your fine motor skills degrade, that frictionless cycling is a massive tactical advantage. It tips the scale right at 6.8 pounds. That is the absolute sweet spot. It is light enough to trek over mountains, but heavy enough to stabilize your crosshairs and manage recoil. The cold, hammer-forged barrel on this system is scary accurate. Tikka puts a 1 MOA guarantee on paper, but I have seen these consistently punch half-inch groups with match-grade ammunition. The synthetic stock is uniquely injected with foam filler. This completely eliminates that cheap, hollow plastic sound you get with budget guns. If you are stalking in thick timber and bump your stock against a pine tree, it gives off a dull thud instead of a loud crack that would immediately compromise your position. The grip texturing is deeply cut and aggressive, keeping the gun locked in your hands even when soaking wet. It runs off a rock-solid single-stack detachable magazine that feeds beautifully. If you want a rugged, highly precise tool that will probably be inherited by your grandkids, the T3x Lite is exactly what you are looking for. All right, let's wrap this up. We just walked through 5 highly capable platforms that perfectly blend traditional hunting heritage with hardcore tactical reliability. These are not delicate museum pieces meant to sit in a climate-controlled safe. These are life-saving tools, engineered to be dragged through the mud, run hard, and perform when failure is not an option. Analyze your specific mission set, respect your budget, and choose your weapon system. Once you get it, mount quality glass, get it zeroed, and train relentlessly until that rifle feels like an extension of your own shoulder. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to hang out at the range and talk ballistics today. If this intel helped you sort out your next loadout, do me a solid favor. Smash that like button. Hit subscribe so you do not miss our next deep dive. And get down in the comments section right now. I want to know exactly which one of these bolt guns you are grabbing when the grid goes down. Train hard, stay dangerous, and I will see you on the range.